Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fine episode of the Save Slot 3 Gamescast. I am your host, EOF Gizmo, joined by Massive Taz
Hello, everyone.
and Mr. CW Lanky.
Hi, Dave.
I like to cycle through your login names, Craig, but your Nintendo one is really boring. It's just Craig.
What even is it?
Just Craig, innit? It's what you appear as on
Is that
everything.
not everyone's
No, everyone's got it. Then,
Nintendo names?
No, mine's EOF Gizmo. Pengi's is Massive Taz.
Beyond all that.
Just Craig. It's boring. You're one step away from just being like dad or player.
We're all in our
player one.
30s now, boys, We give up on the teenage, internet names.
Definitely not. I don't want the people to know who the fuck
Yeah.
I am. The older I get, I feel safer just being Gizmo. But Craig.
Yeah.
Craig. So before we get to more chats about Craig and just Craig being Craig, which is also one of his names, let's move over to the returning best part of the podcast. It's, of course, the Pengles News Desk. Time for some news.
We have 7 items of news.
Craig doesn't.
Number 1, Sony Ben is hit with layoffs. 30% of the staff have gone. Does this make you sad, Davey?
Makes me very sad. Makes me very sad. I like Days Gone and Uncharted Golden Abyss and Siphon Filter and whatever else they did. So, yeah. There was a whole Sony interview that they did. I didn't really want to put it in here because it was like when you watch an interview and it's a lot of talking but nothing's really said.
It was like a weird financial, they obviously have their financial things every quarter and stuff like that. It was very similar of the charts and table, but they did discuss other things and stuff in it and things like that. This is some questions from our shareholders, but Sony are making a lot of money, but they have laid off 30% of the Sony Ben team. So
yeah, not good. So hopefully Ben survive and they do something else. But as they've only actually released one game in the last decade, I'm not hopeful. I'm Hopefully they're on to another project now because their multiplayer game got cancelled, didn't it? The one they were working on. Can't remember which one it was, but yeah. Craig, have you played any Ben games, and when are you going to play Days Gone?
I don't think I have played any, and I'm assuming that Days Gone remaster didn't do what it needed to do, and that's why this is happening.
Yeah, I don't really know what they were expecting with that, if I'm honest with you. Because it was very confusing, because it was just sort of like a £10 upgrade that added a mode, right? That was all with the other games have been added for free.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a strange one.
And I saw obviously Mystic Ryan, for instance, in another PlayStation, people were like, "Oh, I'm not getting it because there's no physical." And stuff like that, where they bought the Horizon remaster and stuff like that. So I know it wouldn't be a much sales, but it's still sales that have been missed out on from not having a physical as well.
Well, yeah, because PlayStation's really that place for it, really. Like if they'd made a £30 physical, I feel like people would have bought that if they hadn't played the game already. But there we go. But you should play it, Craig, because it is a fun game.
Yeah.
It's on Pengi's list, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on Pengi's list.
It's still baffles me that it's the one zombie PlayStation game that I finished. A man who hates zombies and PlayStation games, but you got as well, especially Pengi, because obviously Pengi was Mr. PlayStation. Craig would love it. I think it would be one of those games you'd play and be like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of my shit." But it's when it's getting time in it, I suppose. But yeah, Pengi, you need to get on it. But it's good. It's really good.
I will add to this for really Craig, also in the chat, they're still going to look at live service, still focus it. They learn a lot by Concord. So, fair games are going to be great, isn't it, Craig? Because they've learned a lot from Concord.
What could possibly go wrong? They've obviously learned so much that they're doing the same thing with marathons. So.
They like double down on marathon in the chat as well, didn't they? They were kind of like, oh yeah, well marathon, we've learned big from Concord for marathon, and I was like, have you? You didn't even mention it in your most recent update thing. Like, Are we going to delay it?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, oh god.
So much confidence that we just pretend it didn't exist in the state of play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
not good. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, like Pengi said, they make so much money that.
Yeah, the PS5's made more money than PS1, 2, 3, and 4 combined already.
Yeah,
So,
they make most of their money from microtransactions, is what they said, right?
yeah, they make tons.
Everyone playing
that much.
Fortnite, and Madden, and whatever. But
yeah,
we'll
those shark cards are gonna make so much money on GTA 6 from not even doing all those shark cards.
God,
people buy.
It's one of those things. I don't want to trigger an argument by my opinion of it, but yeah, this all works until it doesn't. I think they need to start maybe putting some of that money into making their own games again. But we'll see. I mean, they've still got this handheld, right? That's probably going to come out, probably going to get announced next year. So we'll see if that pushes the needle a bit with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will see.
And you think showcases were over? They weren't. Konami had one. They had a little bit of news updates. They showed eFootball, and you can now have classic like Barcelona, Neymar, Messi, and Suarez in your team if that's what you want. And they showed a mobile MLB game and all that sort of thing. But the main news is Metal Gear Solid Delta's multiplayer mode isn't MGS Online, it's Fox Hunt mode. From what it looked like to me, it's Spies versus Mercs from Splinter Cell, and one of you plays as Snake, and a bunch of you play as soldiers trying to kill Snake. From what it looked like to me from the multiplayer mode.
Also, it looked like Prop Hunt from Garage Mod.
I have no idea what that is. That's why I used Spies versus Mercs.
Where you can take over like inanimate objects, right? That's what Prop Hunt is.
You've never seen anyone play Prop Hunt, Pengi?
No, this is the first time I've even heard of it.
You are the most gamer person ever, and you've never ever seen anyone stream Prop Hunt.
They did it. They put it in. Wasn't Prop Hunt in one of the CODs as well recently? Pretty sure it was.
I have no idea.
You baffle me, Pengi.
Hence why I'm using Spies versus Mercs. It's my thing.
20. What game did we play that had Prop Hunt in it? We definitely played a game with Prop Hunt in it.
Did we?
Yeah, it might have been. Me and Craig did. It might have been COD. But anyway, Pengi. 20-year-old original Xbox references are probably not what the kids want to hear.
Yeah. So that's what it looked like to me. I don't know what Craig's Prop Hunt is thing. What have you got to do in Prop Hunt, Craig?
One of you's like the seeker, and then everyone else just like becomes like inanimate objects and places themselves in the world. So you could become like a broom.
Oh, so like the Ghostbusters game we played.
Yeah, that must be the thing I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And then the person who's like the seeker walks around and shoots the things that he thinks are the people. But if he just shoots random things and his health goes down, he's only got so much health.
Yeah.
But if he finds them and he kills them, then he wins.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like that, and whoever's playing Snake can camouflage themselves and stuff like that, and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's Metal Gear Solid Delta. That was that. Will anyone actually play the multiplayer mode though? Dave,
nope.
On Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Probably on launch week, right? I mean, how many times have they tried a Metal Gear Solid multiplayer mode in these games? I feel like I think it's cool that it's in it because most people wouldn't bother anymore. But it'll have a group of people that play it all the time, but that'll be that, and then it'll be done until they get. It's not going to have a lot of content, is it? I'd imagine. So once that content is done, it will be done.
Remember when every game used to have a multiplayer?
It was a great time.
Like Tomb Raider. Yeah, because we played Tomb Raider on Stadia, and it was like me and you and like 2 other people online.
It was the Uncharted and Last of Us multiplayer that was really good. I played a lot of both, even if I hated Last of Us. The multiplayer and remaster was really good, and the Uncharted 2, 3, and 4 multiplayer was great.
Yeah.
It reminds me. So I've been playing some Gears Reloaded beta. It's like that era of games was great shit for multiplayer.
But the big thing from the Konami thing, they ended on just the like splash screen and a logo and some music. Silent Hill 1 remake's coming from Blooper Team. Are we excited, Craigie, for a Silent Hill 1 remake?
Yeah, I hope they. I mean, two was obviously must have been a big like success sales wise, and obviously it did review really well. Do hope they've learned some lessons from two though. I think
Hmm.
we both kind of agreed that two was good, but it definitely had its flaws.
Yeah.
I think they'll have.
Definitely was too long. They definitely
Mm.
expanded too much in some places. So yeah, I hope they do maybe learn a little bit from that.
I think it's the problem. The difference between one and two, I think, is was a PS1 game, so they're going to
Hmm.
have to change a whole lot more than perhaps they
Well, the
want.
camera angles are different for a start.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll be a
One thing.
modern. It'll be a modern game when it will be
Right.
like
Oh yeah.
the modern Resident Evils, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
but you
just
don't have like, I was thinking more of like the basis of Silent Hill 2. You've already got like it's behind the camera and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff was the same. Like there's a lot you got to redo for Silent Hill 1.
yeah. And what I mean is, I think they've got more license to do it, whereas I think less people are going to like more people would have been annoyed if they changed more in two. Is what I'm trying to say because it's still
Yeah.
kind of modern, whereas like no one's complaining that they change if they change borderline everything in Silent Hill 1 apart from the story. And I think it's the creepiest Silent Hill game for the ones I've played. I've played 1, 2 and 4 back in the day, and I think 1 is pretty creepy because that's the one with all the like you really are in like the decrepit Silent Hill, and it's like maybe it was the camera that made it creepy for me, but I'd be very interested to see what this looks like. Obviously, I'm not going to buy it because I don't hate myself, Gregor, but
Yeah.
you two will probably get your horror
Yeah.
kicks from it, I suspect.
Yeah, and this made the most sense because I did think 3, especially that being a PS2 game, they could have worked with what they had basis from 2 on that. But obviously, you need to play the first one to play 3, really. So this makes much more sense from that. And I get maybe obviously what they could do remake tie into 3 and stuff more. So that's Silent Hill. That was basically Konami showcase. Next news item: Stellar Blade, the best-selling Sony published PC game at launch, over 152 concurrents on Steam on launch day. And I will add to this: there's apparently you can break down the region. Something like nearly all the players are in Asia for this, so this is obviously a bit like Black Myth Wukong, where that obviously super well, but obviously basically all China bought that. It looked like similar here. It's doing great numbers in Asia. Stellar Blade on PC. I also seen our people will buy quality games. Are they buying this because this is a quality game, Craig, or are they buying this because it's on PC and you can mod the hell out of it?
Well, I've always thought those dirty PC players are perverts, and that just kind of backs up everything I've ever believed in. To be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
I know why they're playing this. They're playing it with
Yeah.
one hand. Let's be honest.
It's quite a difficult game. I think they'd struggle with one hand.
They might. What about you, Davey?
Yeah, it's one
Because
of
I
the.
think you might have even tried the demo
I,
on your
I tried the
Steam
demo on my
Deck.
Steam Deck out of interest, and it looked like a
Yeah.
potato. To be honest with you, on the old deck, but it's one of those games slash genres that if you're a PC person that doesn't have a PlayStation, every time these ones come out, you're going to buy it because you're a fucking weird freak for it. You're Andy Cortez. You want to play it at 190 frames a second and for like 20k whatever, and you want to mod it so that the tits are out the whole time. Like it's just that community, isn't it? It's one of those. It's the type of game they like, but again, it's one of those things. I think if I'm Sony and I look at this, I kind of think, well, got to get these types of games closer to day and date. You know what I mean? Maybe not like Ghost of Yotai, but like stuff like Stellar Blade and what was the one you played, Pengi? Rise of Ronin, I think it was called, right?
Yeah, that flopped like hell on Steam though.
Yeah,
It was a mess, I think.
yeah, and it's one of those. I think if you put that out day and date and it's in
Mm.
good condition, I think it does slightly better. It's they don't need to with like Uncharted and Last of Us and that, but I think with with the other type of games, especially the Souls likes, I think they get
Yeah,
viral. They get viral when they're on PC, don't they? So
it'd be interesting how Lost Soul Aside does, because that is launching day and date
yeah,
on PC, and it is a Soulsy Final Fantasy. It's made in China as well, I believe. So the whole Black Myth like comparison is like, oh, that game did enormous numbers, all in China basically. So it's like
yeah,
I
and,
can
that,
see
and
that being
that's
heavily promoted in China next to a PS5. His Lost Soldier site.
and they celebrate them as they were before the Chinese players got on. So we'll see how the next time it pops up, how many players it did jump to. Because I think Black Myth did ridiculous numbers the second that the Chinese could buy it, right? So
yeah. Talking of messes though, Mind's Eye is a total mess, and on PlayStation you can get it refunded. I believe on Xbox you'll be able to do that within a certain amount of days, but PlayStation's are normally a bit iffy on that. But they are offering refunds, so a little bit like Cyberpunk there for the whole refunds thing. But Mind's Eye, a mess. Has it got review scores yet, Craig?
It's not got enough on OpenCritic though. It's still saying only 4 reviews on OpenCritic, even though it's not got the IGN review. And I know IGN did review it, so that just probably needs updating. It does have a Metacritic though, and it's currently on 43.
oof.
Yeah,
Oof.
and the user score is even worse. The user score is 2.5. I imagine most people who are playing this at this point are people who are doing it for the
content.
laugh, right?
That's what they're doing it for.
Yeah, for content.
Yeah.
For like they're curious. They want to see just how like bad things can be. I guess, right?
It's pretty wild for a game to come out and be worse reviewed than something like Welcome Tour on Switch 2. That was literally a paid tutorial. God.
Yes.
We did all say this was going to be bad, didn't
the press have been paid off.
We are waiting for our check to cash. That's why we're not saying good things about it at the minute. But
I think Pengi or Messi Pin went 80. So
yeah, I mean, Pengi gets paid off for it's not a lot of cash to pay off Pengi. That's the thing. It was kind of a can.
I think I went high because Leslie Benzies and stuff. IO Interactive for publishing. They want I think IO, especially from this past summer showcase, want to be taken quite serious as like a big player. And then they've gone and published a 44 whatever rated.
I do feel for IO here because they are the big losers.
Oh, they've been sold a dream, haven't they? They've been sold down the river on it. I mean, I'm pretty sure what was it revealed at? Was it a PlayStation State of Play?
PlayStation, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure when we reviewed it, we were like that. I'm pretty sure that I said like that doesn't even look real. It looks like an AI. Like doesn't look real. Like they didn't show us anything. I think we were all kind of like, I don't know. But then like, I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised.
I've not heard anything about because isn't it? It was originally made in another game, wasn't it? And then that game
it was made in everything or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I've not heard anything about that since. But yeah, it just seems.
It's just
an absolute car crash.
The poor actor that was the lead in this and Mafia 3, coming out in the two buggy launches he's had now in a row. Bless him. Just wants to be a game character, But yeah, I don't think any of us. I mean, it's one of those. I don't know about you boys, but if I see it for like £5 somewhere, I'm tempted because that seems like a fucking laugh stream to me. But is this one for the collection?
That's how much they paid for Gollum.
What game?
Yeah. If it comes to like, you could see it coming to Game Pass or Plus quite quickly for them to like get some.
I feel like no one wants to touch it, Pengi. No, I feel like there'll be riots in the street if PlayStation Plus next month is like Mind's Eye. You know what I mean?
Okay, when Epic give it out for free next week.
Okay, that's a bit more realistic.
I might give it a go.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, becomes a service or something. Yeah, that might be the thing. Yeah. So, but what isn't a mess? It's the Switch 2 launch. It sold 3.5 million in 4 days, making it most headlines going is the most successful Nintendo console. Is actually the most successful console launch ever because I believe it took the PS4 6 weeks to get to that number, and PS5 about the same, and it did it in 4 days. So huge success for the Switch 2, it seems, Craigie.
Yeah, I think it's a big success for them for production and getting it into like stores and retailers as well, because there was a lot of clamour for pre-orders. Right, and I know people in America who wanted to pre-order, but didn't go straight away, and then were struggling to get pre-orders. But then actually on the day when it released, a lot of places just had it, surplus that you could order on that day. So there was clearly a hell of a lot of these knocking around. So they did a very good job of getting out distribution and boosting them.
Mr. Grubb said Nintendo had 4 million ready to go, and seeing they sold 3.5 million, I want to believe Mr. Grubb on that one. So.
Oh, we lost Craigo. We have lost Craigo. We're so angered that we used Grubb's name in vain. He's run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's one of those, like, as Craig was saying, he's returning to us now. They've made it available.
Yeah.
Because I think it was probably ready to come last year, and they went, no, what? Let's wait until we've got 4 to 5 million on launch day, and then I think they said 20 million by the end of the year they want to have made. So
yeah,
I think they'll sell most of those. I think by the end of the year it's easily surpassed Wii U's 13.5. Like comfortably.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Because you got to remember as well, it's not even holiday season right now; it's the summer. So
they said they wanted to sell 15 in a year. So I don't know if that means until the end of this year, as in calendar year, or they mean to end of March, as in financial year. Because I could really see them selling 15 million by the end of this year. Like when you get to November, December, you got your Pokemon in October. If you're selling 3.5 million in 4 days, I can't see how 15 million wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility with a Pokemon. It's guess production or something would be the thing. How many can they actually make a week or whatever going forward now?
Yeah, I feel like
Pokemon will be the game as well. You're right. When it inevitably comes out on Switch 1 and it is chugging at 5 frames per second, and it's on the Switch 2, beautiful.
Yeah,
that will be the one where the more casuals take a look at their bank balance and go, well, "Can I justify this?" You know what I mean?
The Tyler Viewers of the world will be
exactly.
I'm going to Switch 2.
I believe the 3 best-selling games on Switch 1 were what? Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, and Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
So if we've got 2 of the 3 already, I kind of feel like people are going to dip in, aren't they, at Christmas? It depends what else they announce, because the world's kind of, again, we're going to do a big Switch 2 chat in a minute, so I won't linger on anything that isn't related to the sales. I think they kind of have got quite a good plan going for what's coming out already, but if they turn around and announce Craig's Stream, a 3D Mario, or they turn around and they announce, here's a new Animal Crossing, it's coming in March, it's just a license to print money, isn't it, at that point?
Mm-hmm. But what they did announce, Dave, for the Nintendo Today app was Splatoon Raiders, which has just been announced for Switch 2. No date, no year, whatever. And this is a spin-off Splatoon game where a deep cut have gone to some islands or something, doing something. And that was about 5-minute trailer, I believe, was it, Dave?
It was. You all laughed at me when I downloaded Nintendo Today. Little did you know, it would be key to news. But yeah, I think this is really cool. It was a really cool trailer. So I know that Craig hasn't played a Splatoon game, but you may be shocked to hear, Craigo, that the Splatoon single-player games are actually really, really fun. Like straight-up campaigns. They tend to be more level-based, but they're good boss fights. Like they're quite good times, right, Pengi? I think all 3 of the ones that I've played anyway. So to see them do a spin-off game specifically for Switch 2, that looks like it's kind of like the Bowser's Fury of the series, maybe, like trying to try out new things, looking at it. It's like you're on an island and you got to do shit. I'm quite interested, actually. Quite interested is probably a bit of an understatement. It's one of those, if it's a full price game, I think I'll be a little bit more hesitant. But if they turn around and go, this is a £35, £30, whatever, download or physical keycard, whatever, release, I'm interested. It's cool to get a game like Splatoon. I really do hope it's this year. I kind of feel like it's gonna be, from the way they showed it off, but we'll see.
It's just the thing is, like, I don't know if they actually really need it this year. Like, you have almost a game a month anyway. Because July you'd have Donkey Kong and you got Mario Party Jamboree, the Switch 2 version. August you got Kirby Forgotten Land Switch 2 version, but you also got to have Prime at some point. So let's say Prime is August. There's nothing in September, but then Hyrule Warriors has got to be somewhere, so that's September. October is Pokemon. November, Kirby Air Riders, let's say. So you would free up December's, or you got to have Dragon Drive somewhere. So there's Dragon Drive in December.
Yeah, but I think
that's a game a month.
I think the smaller games you can chuck in there, right? So if Splatoon Raiders is a smaller game, they could chuck it in alongside Kirby, because obviously Kirby's just a remake or a remaster, sorry,
Yeah.
or they could chuck it alongside Metroid because it's kind of a different audience. But yeah, again, it's cool. Did you watch the trailer, Craig?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I didn't think the trailer was very good.
Have
I don't
you
think the
got
trailer
any
really showed
context
us.
though at all?
Well, I don't think it was a good trailer. I just don't think it really showed
No?
anything. It was just like some guy wandering around, and then I was like, What is that? Like, what are we doing here?" So yeah, I don't think it was a good trailer. I mean, I'm interested. I do think like the size and content, I guess, will be key here, and the price. So I don't think the Splatoon, like the campaigns, are very long, are they? By the sound of it,
About 3 or 4
Yeah.
hours, I think.
there isn't much to them. So yeah, if it's full price and it's like 4 or 5 hours, then that is.
Yeah,
Be a worry, I guess.
I don't think there's any world in which it's full price. There's no way. I'll be
I mean,
amazed. Unless it's multiplayer, there's no way that game's going to be like £60. Pokemon's 50 on Switch 2, for example. Like, there's no way there's going to be more than that. Depends what you think. Well, it depends what you class as full price, I guess, Craig, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be 15
Yeah.
either. I mean, the dream would be something like 25, I think. But I'm sure they will tell us eventually at some point, probably on their app, just to let us
You
know.
didn't put it on here, but obviously that wasn't the only Splatoon news. Splatoon 3 got a free Switch 2 upgrade, so very similar to Super Mario Odyssey, for instance. There's about 10 games, for instance, that had that. Splatoon 3 is the first one post Switch to launch to get an upgrade. I have not played the upgrade yet, but I believe it's now in like 4K. 60 is also 60 in the hub instead of 30, and they added like 30 weapons in, but that's also on the if you're playing on the Switch 1. Am I right thinking that, Dave?
Yeah, they did it in quite an interesting way because they didn't do a Switch 2 edition, so to speak. They basically patched the Switch 1 version to like open all the frame rates and the resolutions and everything, I think. So in the Switch 1, it actually renders less stuff now because they wanted to have parity. So it's like there's less like background shenanigans, which is quite interesting. So it's a locked 60 all the way around. They also put in Urchin Underpass, which is the map from the first game. We did a like best maps and tracks episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
Doing that, and I think we mentioned it. And we were kind of like, well, they've kind of put it in Mario Kart, so maybe that's the Splatoon version. It turns out that they kind of want that to be their version of Gridlock from Gears, where it's in every game now. But yeah, I did play it. It's smooth as hell. Looks a lot crisper. I'd say the resolution's better. I think it's probably a bit of a jump from 720p to 1080p on the handheld for sure, and then on the TV, I usually play on a 1080p TV, so I don't really notice too much of a difference. But it looks crisper, feels very smooth. But yeah, it's cool. I'm hoping it means they're going to bring back Splatfests if they're not going to do Splatoon 4 anytime soon. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But yeah, it was a fun time.
Good. I have re-downloaded it, but I have not played anything yet.
Nice.
And then we got a new wild news thing Dave has added, or Craig's added, is Devil May Cry 5 is now sold over 10 million units. Did you play 5, Craig? I feel you played 5.
Yeah, I really like 5. 5's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
A few years old now, right? I'm trying to think when that came out.
6 years.
23?
6
Oh
years.
my god.
2019, the original
No.
game came out.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
And it was
You're
a
lying to me.
And it was a launch title on PS5 when they did the remaster,
Yeah.
which
You're
was
full of shit.
2020. No, I'm
Yeah.
sadly, that time gets us all, Craig. Time gets us all.
Yeah.
Because that was the one where you play as the 3 different characters.
Yeah,
Mhm.
as Nero,
Yeah.
Dante, and V.
Yeah, it's the last one they made. They haven't made another one. It was a PS4 and
That is
Xbox
quite
One
crazy. They haven't made another Devil May Cry in 6 years.
no, but
And
it
we've got
was
the anime recently.
because how many years was it between 4 and 5? That was a fair old. 4 was what,
Yeah, that
2008?
was quite yeah.
So probably-
Wasn't 4 a 360 game?
It was.
Yeah.
I've got a steelbook for it. It was a
I
lovely.
think I played that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I played all of them apart from 2, which is the bad one, right?
There's no such thing as a Devil May Cry
Yeah,
2.
I've even played the Ninja Fury one that I think is much better than people give it credit for.
Yeah, DMC's really good.
But yeah, I stuck this one in there because it popped up on my little news feed, and I was like, Capcom cannot stop winning, Craigo. Cannot stop.
you've not put it here, but I think Street Fighter 6 now sold 5 million
Yeah,
copies
I
as
think
well.
I think the Switch pushed it over. I didn't see I couldn't find like an actually good article for it as well because I remember seeing it on some sort of like YouTube channel thing. But yeah, again, Capcom just making that money, making all that money.
Yeah, they're making all that money and thing. And then the last news one. This is a bit of a rumored one. The ROG, it's the ROG Ally Xbox. I believe it's that way around. I think
Not a clue.
it's rumors. Rumors becoming October, and we have the European prices because I believe the person from this rumor is French. And it's €599 for the ROG Ally Xbox, the bottom of the range one with like 512 gigabyte storage and stuff. And then the top of the range one is 899, so €900, and that gives you 1 terabyte. And I think it's 24 gigs of RAM over 16. So pretty spenny, Craigie.
Yeah, I think that's what we all expected, right? I don't think any of us would be cheap. Definitely not. Especially at launch. I don't know what those European prices equate to for us. I have no idea.
It's probably exactly the same.
I think if you're lucky, you might get 50 less, but I think it'll be the same.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the same, and I think it will also be the same in the US, and they'll riot about it, but it will also be $600 and $900. I think.
It could be more over there because of the tariffs and stuff. I don't know where.
Yeah, but it's difficult when you do US pricing because they don't the tax is at a state level. Because I always make this mistake, and I'm always like, hang on a minute, they're only paying £50, but they don't because it's different in every state. So in reality, like in Oklahoma, for example, $600 is actually 600 plus 7%. I think is what Oklahoma's is. So, but yeah, it's different. It's different in every place. It's why, like, if you ever go to America, and you see like McDonald's, and you're like, oh, 3 for $4.99, hell yeah, and they're like, oh, it's $5.50, and you look at them so confused, it's because they have to add tax at the thing. Why they don't just have a value-added tax like we do and everyone else does in the world?
Question.
Answer.
You might have that. So in Japan, they also have that. Yes. But in Japan, if you are a foreigner like myself or yourself, you don't have to pay that tax.
No, usually.
What about in the States?
Yeah, usually in the States you do pay. They are. You pay for everything in the United States.
Yeah.
I think in Japan you pay some sort of tariff per every day you're in the country, right? It's one
I
of
have
those.
no idea.
I think you pay like a state thing. I think that's why you don't pay. They don't charge you tax. But anyway, this is not a travel program.
No. I just thought you seen like Adam Kotorik's like pick up videos in Japan. He goes to like a little mom and pop store that's most probably never seen a foreigner for about 6 months, and they like tries to explain to them like, yeah, I don't have to pay tax, and they're trying to figure it out or whatever.
Yeah.
They got to put it through their till, and it's always
what we need is Chris Pengelly in Japan. What we need is that vlog. I think. I think that's a dream. I think it's a dream of mine and Craig's at this point. I mean, we may even start a GoFundMe to get Pengels to like a rural Japan because they've never seen a foreigner and they've definitely never seen a Chris Pengelly.
It's the communication that would be the fantastic part,
right?
Yeah.
Both speak fluent English and neither understand what they're saying. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa, Pengo-san.
And that is the news, Davey.
Well, it's been a lovely bit of news, Pengi. Thank you. And as we said pre-record, it's just been 18,000 showcases and a console launch, so it was always going to be a bit of a quiet news desk today. Pengels hasn't had to print off as many papers and shuffle them as he does when he's on his news. He is actually in a full suit. We just don't put the camera on. But maybe we'll start doing it. But anyway, let's move on to our topic of the show. Tots. And obviously the tots this week, as we teased on last week, is our Switch 2 first week impressions / review / whatever. So I don't know if there's an order we want to do this in, if we want to go and just talk about our initial thoughts of the actual machine before we've talked about what we've been playing. That seemed like the most sensible thing. So Craig,
maybe do that, then do our thoughts on Mario Kart. We've all played that.
We have.
Then whatever else we've been playing.
Yeah, then we'll end on whatever's non-Nintendo and we've played and bought. So Craigo, let's start us off as you're the biggest Nintendo virgin of all of us. How's it been? How's your first week with the Switch 2 been?
Yeah, really good, in fairness. It did come on the day as well. It did. It was there. There was obviously the excitement of whether it would be on the day or whether Amazon was going to fuck it. So they did fuck it for some people, right? But he was there on the day, David. But yeah, no, it's been really nice. It very much. I've seen other people saying about it. It very much feel like the Switch Pro, right? But that's every console nowadays, guys, and that's what every console is going to be going forward for the rest of consoles. Every console is going to feel like the Pro of the previous one. That's just how it is. I know some people say it's not exciting, but it's what we all want, really, isn't it? We all wanted the Switch Pro, really, don't we? If we're all being honest. We didn't want another Wii U to something different where none of the bloody games work. I gotta buy all the games again. Oh god, that'd be dreadful, wouldn't it? We don't want that. So yeah, no, it does very much feel like a Switch Pro. I think like the dashboard and that. I think it's from memory virtually identical to the Switch One.
Yeah, they even updated the Switch One to be even more like this one.
To go in line with it.
Yeah. We call it the
sense.
Xbox dashboard theory, which is kind of what they did with the Xbox One.
Absolutely, it's what it should be.
Right.
Well, I even like that. Actually, the actual hardware in my hands, I think the screen's good. I don't think the screen's like going to blow anyone away. I think it's very good. I don't think it's like mind blowing to look at. I even like. I would be interested to sit next to the OLED screen from the Switch One because I'm like, did the OLED screen maybe even look a little bit better? I don't know. I know I saw like Digital Foundry have done videos where they're like side by side, and the OLED one does look better in the video. But I'm also like, well, I'm watching that through another screen. It's like Inception with screens, isn't it? So
yeah,
is that messing a bit? But I think the screen's good. When we inevitably get the
Switch OLED.
I think that's when our minds will probably be blown at that point. The screen, but I think it's good. I don't think it's mind blowing. And I do think like the fact it's a bit bigger. I do like, and I do the Joy-Cons. I still feel are a tad underwhelming. I'll be honest. I still feel like I have to dislocate my right thumb to get to the right joystick on the Joy-Con when I'm playing handheld. I don't know about you guys. From what I've been playing so far, handheld has not been a problem because I've not been using that joystick really. But God, trying to play like Doom or even like Metroid Prime coming this year, like that would just be, I don't know. I don't even know how I'd do it. I might have to snap my thumb in half, boys, to do that. And they do suffer from the similar problem of the bumper and the triggers on them still just feel really cheap and a bit naff to me as well, personally. So I am like, I think I wrote that to Davey, like, when the old Switch Pad Pro or whatever the hell they were called, the hoary ones that we all had, for the Switch, kind of come out, maybe I'll buy them because I do think that would make the form factor much nicer for me playing handheld, because it is nice to have almost like the PlayStation Portal, where it just feels like a controller cut in half with a screen in the middle. Right, that's what we like. Mm-hmm. Two big fat things to hold on to. Know where my thumb's going. So yeah, I probably will end up still buying some of them when they inevitably come out. Which I was kind of hoping that the Joy-Cons being bigger, we wouldn't have that issue, but I still find it a little bit awkward. But no, overall, pretty positive on the actual Switch 2, personally, boys.
Nice. Pengi, what about you?
Yeah, a lot of the same, like the screen does look good. I haven't played a huge lot in handheld, but yeah, the screen does look good. What it is, I kind of want to put it next, I don't know if you've done it, Craig, next to the Portal, because the Portal screen's really good and that isn't an OLED, to see how they compare side by side with,
that is a good point, actually, because the Portal screen is pretty good.
Sort of saying what they compare. When I did play it in a handheld, similar problem to Craig, not the stick. I was playing Fast Fusion, and you're normally just pressing A, that's your accelerator, and you press the whatever the top button is on the Switch controller. Is it X or Y? I can't remember which one it is
X.
on the Switch.
I know what you mean, though. Yeah, to change color. Yeah.
to change color, and I always found like that was a bit awkward. Like my thumb quite couldn't write, and I was like, my left hand felt perfectly fine, but like my right one was like trying to move my thumb to try to switch color. Bit of a pain. Where on the Pro controller, you got the GR and GL on the back, so I just mapped the X button to GR, so I can keep my thumb on the accelerator, and then when I want to swap to red or blue, I just tap that back button, and that's how I switch color. Because you, like I said, you do need to take your thumb off the accelerator to switch, because it's a button, not a trigger. That would make sense. Yeah, I did find it uncomfy. So I even said to Craig and a couple of like discords and stuff like, does anyone know of like any good grips? Because I knew the split pad wasn't out yet for the Switch 2 to make it feel like an actual controller. The D brand kill switch I've seen a couple of times, and the Genki attack vector, but they're like, I think they're like $50, and it's like really expensive and stuff like that for what they are, and like it does come in like protective case and that, but I don't really want that. I'm not really gonna take my Switch on the go or anything. I just want like the grips on my Joy-Con and sort of thing. So yeah, most probably the same when Split Pad Pro do come out. The only worry with that is, will they be able to use some wireless, or will, sort of thing? Will they have like the mouse mode and have like the 2.0 rumble? Like, will they have all the features of a Joy-Con, or will they just be stripped back and it's just a controller? It only works when you're using it in handheld mode. That is a few things. Where if I just bought grips, I'm getting everything a Joy-Con that still does with the Joy-Con sort of thing. Dashboard, like I haven't used Switch for ages, and it is definitely different, but very similar. And same with the eShop, it's definitely changed a bit, and it has like a recommended page which updates on a Saturday, sort of thing, and like the chart and everything's a little bit different and stuff. And I was saying to you, Dave, I think before we started, it was actually Splatoon. It's like I've re-downloaded that, and like I go on the eShop, and the first thing it's coming up with, I was like, oh yeah, they did a expansion of Splatoon 3 and stuff like that. So it clearly knows what I play and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different there, but it is very similar. It does feel very Xbox One to Xbox Series in terms of like jump and change. Like the Joy-Cons are pretty similar, the Pro controller is similar and stuff like that. It's not like, at least with the PS5 you did have the Dual Sense, which is a bit different to the DualShock 4, but this is very similar to that. But yeah, I do like it as a piece of hardware. It does look sleeker and looks more adult and stuff, being all black and just that little bit of hint of color as well. But yeah, liked it so far. I'm not a huge. The new dock feels a bit cheap though, and there's like a bit on the back that's supposed to go with the cover of the HDMI and the power cable. I can get mine to fit back on. The HDMI cable just like got in the way, so I just left it off. And obviously there's more fan exposure, but I thought the dock felt a bit more cheap compared to the OLED Switch I had last, which obviously had that white dock and stuff like that. But yeah, what about you, Dave?
Nice. So I echo similar sentiments to you already. I think from a pure hardware perspective, it's better in every way than the Switch One. What I expected, what I wanted, really. Handheld wise, I have the exact same problems that you guys have, especially Craig. I don't think it's very comfortable. The Joy-Cons are still too small. I think the stick's too small and the buttons are still too small, and it doesn't have. It's too flat. Like it needs that little bump of grip. And I know that.
That's why I was looking for grips.
Yeah, like, and when I think D brand are doing one, which is kind of the one I want, it comes apart and it will fit in the dock. I think that's the one that I think a lot of people have pre-ordered.
Yeah, but it's like $50 or something stupid like that.
Yeah, and again, you shouldn't have to pay that to make your handheld console comfortable, but at the end of the day, that's just the way it is, right? For me, screen-wise, I have
$59.95, and then I don't know how much it is shipping.
Nice. Well. They'll put them out in the UK eventually. I think they're just taking pre-orders now, right? Compared to, so I have a Switch 1 OLED, but I also have a Steam Deck OLED. Screen-wise, Craig, it's not even a competition. The Steam Deck OLED is so much better, but it's still a good screen. It's got VRR, and it's bright and HDR and all that. So it's not, I'm not a snob for that. For my Nintendo games, it looks fine.
That is something I would like to try. I haven't tried yet. Like, obviously, it's got HDR on the TV, and Mario Kart's nice, bright, and colourful, and stuff like that. And one of the games I've played on my playlist on the TV, it's quality mode 30 frames. That's the only options I've got because I don't have 120 frames mode. But I haven't tried it yet on the handheld because I can have a 40 frame because it's 120 frame handheld screen. I can try the 40 frame mode out on that. It's not something I've tried yet. Have you tried that with anything, Dave? I don't really know what you would have that might have options like that.
No, all of the games obviously we'll talk about the games we're playing in a bit, but all the games I have are kind of the Nintendo games. I think the most non is probably Kinetsugami, but that just runs it at locked 1080p 60, I think. I don't think there's graphics options from memory. I think I did look. But yeah, what was I say? I think the dock is I didn't like the docks in the Switch 1, and I continue to not like the docks on the Switch 2. I always used a third-party dongle for my Switch 1, just because it was smaller and easier and did the same thing. So I'm kind of hoping that some of those get put out. But it's Windows dressing, and like you put it in, you leave it. So for me, I didn't have any trouble getting the thing on the back. I had to move the cables out of the way whenever I put it back on. But that's kind of it. And I do move it around quite a bit between TV, so I have had to do that a few times. I do like that the charging cable is a released cable, so if I want to buy a longer cable I can. I like that. Not that I'm saying I would, but if I were to move abroad I could just buy the US adapter and I wouldn't have to worry about having a whole like connection of things. So I like that. That's cool. And from a hardware perspective, the only other thing I don't know if we talked about yet is the controller. The Pro controller is a fantastic controller.
Yeah, it is very good.
The difference from, because I really like the Switch 1 Pro controller, but the difference is it's literally the Xbox One to the Xbox Series controller. They've taken a great controller and they've made it better, and the Pro controller 2 is a big step up to the Pro controller 1 that was already really great. But yeah, I love that Pro controller 2. The mappable buttons on the back are really easy to do. You can do it on a game by game basis, and I found it useful in some games. Particularly games where you have to cycle through stuff quite a lot, and then the actual comfort of the rounded, like being one piece instead of like segmented pieces, means it doesn't feel as brittle. And yeah, great, it's really good controller. And again, I've yet to have to charge it, so
yeah, I'm surprised with the because I've owned Xbox Elite controller, and you had the paddles and stuff you could put 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, so you have 4 options. Never used them. I did like the Elite because it was a bit heavier and felt well made, compared to the normal controllers. Really like. And same with my DualSense Edge. It's like a bit heavier. You do have the bits where you can change the triggers on the back, like the levels and stuff, and that, which is really useful. But again, I can put paddles on the back. It's only 2. There's a different sizes and shapes. You can just have a little one which doesn't take up much room. I've never used it. Yeah, having it weirdly built in to the controller, and it's like, oh yeah, fast shoot. You're like I was saying, fast fusion. It's like, well, I got to keep cycling between red and blue. Well, I'm trying to go fast, so I gotta keep wanting to accelerate. Oh yeah, let's just map the X button to GR, and then I can just keep flicking through. I did try it on Mario Kart as well, like because you got to use A, and normally racing games you use triggers. So I tried mapping to GR, but it just didn't feel right. It didn't felt a bit wrong with Mario Kart doing that. But yeah, but Fast Fusion, it made a lot of sense. Like you're saying, games where you might have to switch between things quickly or whatever could be really good. It's just surprising, just having it built in so much easier, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I have it mapped on Mario Kart to look behind, which is easier than moving your thumb up to, I think it's the X button that does that. So it's nice just to have it, like I can flick it and be like, yeah, cool. Someone behind me with a shell, let's just hold back or whatever. But yeah, that's the hardware. I think that's, again, like I said, it's a Switch Pro, but it's great. I get this the loading times and stuff is huge for me. It's so much better, so much better. I mean, I like the Switch 1 apart from the Switch 1, if that makes sense. Like I like the games, but I always found the hardware a bit slow and dead. Whereas so far, it's not. So let's talk about games, Craig. Let's talk about Mario Kart, I suppose. Obviously, you played some of Mario Kart 8, Craigo, but not a whole lot because you didn't have a Wii U and you only played a little bit of Deluxe. So what's your basically jumping from N64 and a little touch of Switch? How do you feel about Mario Kart World?
So a little bit mixed. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun to be had here. I think it feels great to play. I think the driving is fantastic. I think I really like they've added the grinding and the wall riding. I think that feels great, and it all just that all just seems like clicks in pretty seamlessly. Sometimes you're even doing it without even like necessarily like meaning to, and that it all just kind of works very nicely. In that sense, I think presentation of the game is just absolutely beautiful. Everything looks brilliant. The world, the tracks, the characters, and it sounds great. So from that sense, I think the feeling was it feels fantastic. I really like the costumes they've done for the characters and unlocking them. I think that's a real like high point. That's something that we always seem to be talking about when we're playing. Is like, oh, I've unlocked this. Oh, I'm trying to unlock this costume for this character. It's definitely something that like people seem very much on board with.
Yeah, you've been trying to unlock that bathing suit for Daisy.
Yeah, I've got it. Don't you worry, Pengi, I got it. I do think having as many of the monster characters is a bit overkill. I think having some of them would have been fun. I love seeing Dave drive around as his crab.
Oh yes,
I think that's great fun. But I do feel like there's God knows how many of them, and I'm like, oh, I could have had less of them and have even more just like proper characters and more costumes, or I know.
Like we haven't got Diddy Kong, for instance. He's like,
Yeah, I know. I always say it, but I think the Smash Bros. With the Nintendo characters, that would have been amazing. But yeah, I do feel like there's almost too many of the randos, the coin coffers, what the hell it's called, and the little birds or whatever it is, the little fish. I got the little fish thing. And I was like, I'm never using that. There's not even like costumes for me to unlock for it. Like, why would I ever use that? So, I think like what they have done there is very cool, but they could have maybe even gone even further with it. The open world stuff for me, that was like something that I was really looking forward to. That's something that's part of the reason why I was like, I'm just gonna get Mario Kart at launch because there's the open world. I can be able to do all this stuff. And it didn't take long for me to kind of feel like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I think it is disappointing, in all honesty. I think they could have done a lot better. I think the world itself is cool. And I really like the challenges, whatever they're called, the missions. And then the other ones are just kind of collectibles. It's the combining of it all into a package, right? It's the opening up a map and seeing where I'm going. Like the first time I opened up the map, I was like, that can't be the map. So there's got to be another map. There's got to be a proper map somewhere. And then I was like, oh, no, that's the map. And I was like, oh, that is definitely disappointing. Something that they probably really should have done better with, in all honesty. Because I am like, I did enough of the free roam stuff to unlock mirror mode, and I was like, I'm not doing any more of this. And that's something that I was really excited to be like, oh, I can just spend ages in this world doing all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm not, I'm done. I've got my 10 peach coins. I ain't getting any more. I'm okay. Thank you. So that was definitely a little bit disappointing. I mean, I'm torn on the tracks. Some of the tracks are amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's some like fantastic tracks in the game. There's like the Boo Cinema I really like. I like all the like water ones and the ice ones as well. I can't remember the names of any of them, but they're all really cool. I do think that the Grand Prix, I'm not a huge fan of you do the first one has 3 laps, that's great, right? But then the rest of them get driving to the race track, and then you're only doing 1 real lap of the track. And I'm like, but the track is the good bit. This is the cool bit. I want to do this as opposed to the driving to it. I want that to be the race. because the driving to it, you're just kind of driving on these roads, right? And that's kind of almost the I don't want to say boring, the less exciting part of it. And I feel like if you were doing 3 laps of Bowser's Castle or 3 laps of whatever Mario Circuit, whatever the Peach's Castle, whatever, yeah. Then these great tracks that they've done and are there, we could play more of them, and then we'd feel even more like enamored to these like really cool tracks. So I do think the way they've done GP is a bit of a shame. I get why they put the like driving in between stuff on there, because they want the world, you to be in the world and driving around the world. I wish they could have done that as like, oh, that's a bit of fun in between. Like, you know what I mean? That's like, that could even just be like the qualifying, like something silly like that.
I actually set these, and like I put on Genome, not in the finish game because there's a finish game for it, but in the last game didn't finish for it because it is a game that I will keep playing Mario Kart. But I said exactly the same thing. Is like, they could still have these driving parts to the track. So I drive to Moo Moo Meadows. If I get to Moo Moo Meadows first, I start on the grid first. If I get to Moo Moo Meadows 20th, I start on the grid 20th. I don't know on Mario Kart, it's not like Formula 1. It's not going to make a huge difference if I start 20th or first because you get the boost or whatever, and if you can boost it, stuff like that. But it's still a bit of that mixed in to the thing of like, yeah, I've got to tracks. I'm like, oh wait, this race is over. That was lap 3. I was still thinking there was more to go with this track.
Yeah, that is it, isn't it? That is exactly the feeling of you're like, oh, that's the last lap we're doing with that. That was fun. You know what I mean? That was great. I want to do more of that. So I think you're 100% right there. The opposite to that is the knockout tour, which feels brilliant. I think that they have absolutely nailed that game. That game is great.
I feel, unfortunately, that's what it's designed for. I feel like they panicked, realised they didn't have enough tracks for Grand Prix, and went, fuck, we're going to have to put the bits we've been planning for Knockout Tour in Grand Prix. That's my honest thought.
Yeah.
Because it's built for Knockout Tour and it works really well.
Yeah, the driving between and the Knockout Tour, that makes perfect sense. Right. And that's great. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you want to be doing in that game, but that's fantastic. The tension when you're like, you can see the gate and you're like, oh, I'm there or thereabouts, but anything can happen in this like 200 meters. It's Mario Kart.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. It's that mode's just absolutely fantastic. They've nailed that completely. And then I think like maybe my last little gripe is maybe like the 24 player thing. They put a lot of focus on that in the lead up to the game, and that's like the main selling point almost. I don't know if it actually makes the game better. I'm not sure. Because to me it does create a bit of a messy middle ground in the race, which is fun for the chaos of Mario Kart. But I do wonder about the longevity of it, because you're always going to get, all right, so you got your 20, let's say. You're always going to get your 4 guys at the back who they're just falling off the track non-stop. They've not got a hope in hell. They could have every power up under the sun. They're going to keep falling off, right? They're in the bottom 4. But like once you get past that, it really does just feel like a bit of a clusterfuck. You know what I mean? It really does feel like there's just shit going on all over the place. And I will say the performance of the game whilst all this shit is going on is incredible. Like, it's mind blowing that there's no stuttering, there's no like, doesn't lose any frames. Like, it's this absolute madness going on, and it just keeps going. But I do wonder, like, yes, it makes it feel more approachable, which for me, when this game first came out, I think I remember I texted you, Dave, and I was like, I prefer this so much to Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Like, straight away. That's because I found Mario Kart 8 quite hard to get into as someone who hadn't played much Mario Kart since Mario Kart 64, and, was coming into it super, super late and was only playing it bit part. And I was one of the guys who was, I just said about the back, he was just falling off the track non-stop. Whereas this, I was like, oh, no, because of the amount of players and how clumped up it is, I was like, this feels, I'm winning races, Dave. What's going on? This is incredible. again, it does. I do wonder about the longevity of it because you do want the people who are doing really well at the front still, even with the Mario Kart bullshit, right? And the people in the chasing pack who maybe aren't quite as good, the Mario Kart bullshit's going to give them a chance every now and again. But if Dave's in the race and Dave's had an absolute blinder and he's hit every apex, let's say, he's hit every drift, he's on the rails, on the walls, getting all the boosts, he should be miles of front still. Even like, but when we played Mario Kart 64 ages ago, Pengi, and I destroyed you.
Yeah.
I wiped the floor. You didn't have a chance in hell. You could have had all the power-ups under the sun. You weren't catching me, right? But I feel like on this, it doesn't matter quite so much because I think there's just such a clusterfuck that, it makes it everyone between like first and 19th, let's say, just feels like anyone's money. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do wonder about longevity. But yeah, I think presentation does a lot of stuff really well, and then there's just a lot of really questionable design choices, I think, personally.
Nice. Pengi, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with quite a lot of Craig was saying. Like the frame mode is pretty sort of disappointing. I did the same pretty much. I did my 10 P switches, my 10 the question blocks, my 10 Peach medallions, so I could unlock mirror mode, and it's like this is quite fun, and I wouldn't mind spending more time in the free roam mode, but it's not like connected to anything. I would have liked, a bit of Forza Horizon and something. It's like, oh, cool. I click on Moo Moo Meadows on the map. Oh, if I do that, it's going to start me the Mushroom Cup or whatever cup Moo Moo Meadows. And then I go do the thing. And that, even with like driving to other tracks, maybe that's the thing. You like, I click the Mushroom Cup or something, and okay, cool. I've driven to Moo Moo Meadows. I've done Moo Moo Meadows. Cool. I've got first in that. And then it kicks you out with thing of the track or at the end of the thing, and then you got to drive to the other one. But maybe that's not uh, like qualifying to the thing. It's just random drive to the next track, so I can leisurely pace over there. I can get distracted by P switches. I can get distracted by question blocks and costumes and that, and then eventually I drive to Mario Kart circuit, and then we do the next race and stuff like that. It just all feels like disconnected and stuff like that. And I kind of agree with Craig with the characters. Like, I haven't unlocked all the NPC sort of enemy characters yet. I think there's ways you can do it quite easily, like putting in versus mode and that like that. I think I unlocked one the other night playing with the G-Name lads and stuff like that. I just, I wait that comes naturally. I'm not going out of my way because I'm not hugely fussed playing with them. And same with the costumes, like I've got all the Peaches, all the Rosalinas, Donkey Kong, Paulines. I got most of Wario's. Like, I'm never gonna play with as Mario, so I've like, right, I'm not actually that bothered about getting his costumes and things like that. But it is more, obviously content there for you to go and get all Mario's costumes or Waluigi's and Bowser's and stuff like that. It's just characters they don't really sort of play as sort of thing. Maybe that's something they could do. Maybe to force you to play as the other characters. I don't really know about that, but then sort of thing. I'm just trying to think of any other aspects. But it is really fun to like you said, to play the game. The actual play when you playing the game and racing, that is fun. Like we've actually had quite a few online sessions and that's been really good. Knockout Tour is great, and there's been a few like moments and stuff like that. Oh, I've made it! Oh, sort of thing in a few bits, like a bit where playing with Gina lots was a Smurf. I was gonna finish 12th. You needed to finish 12th to qualify. And then he hit me with a shell. I finished 14th, and he finished 13th. I was like, "What was the point of hitting me? You didn't qualify yourself. I could have got it if you finished 12th, but no, we both went out for that." It's like, yeah, okay. And all these like moments and stuff added, I think. And I have picked up P switches in online when you're waiting for the next race and stuff like that. Sometimes that goes like really quickly. Like, oh, oh, it's 10 seconds to the next race. I don't know if that's something, because I've never actually hosted a lobby, if it's just automatic or the lobby leader's gone, like, next race and then 10 seconds. If you could go into a lobby of like 10 of us in free roam and not start a race and just mess around a bit, like Need for Speed Most Wanted was the example I used, especially like Nintendo people were like, that was on Wii U. Like, 6 of you could just join, you could just drive around the city doing random stuff. It's like, can you do that and then eventually start races and things like that? Like that until it gets going. Yeah.
What about you, David?
No, so I'm a bit more positive than you guys. Again, like before said, cool racing, great. I like it. To me, I like the 24 and I like the chaos because it feels different. It feels more like Mario Party. Like the Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 was great, but it was almost the, and this is funny because it's Mario Kart, the serious man's Mario Kart, where it's all about the shortcuts, and if you don't know the shortcuts, you can get such big leads and whatever. Whereas like this, even with 24 players, I kind of feel like the pack is always pretty close. It's very rare that someone pulls that ahead and stays ahead, which I quite enjoy because it's a party game to me. It's not a serious MLG whatever. Knockout Tour's great. I think again the game's designed for it. I think that works really well. I don't have a problem with the driving between races because to me they're just the point-to-point races from the last games. Just there's more of them. But again, I can see why people don't like them. But to me, it's I've not once gone, oh god, I got to drive in a straight. And I'm still just playing Mario Kart, so I enjoy that.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I remember when we drove once the first time to Moo Meadows and that, like, I know what Moo Meadows is like, and it's like, hey, that was a Moo Meadows. Was that it? And then obviously we did figure out if you press the plus button and then pick Moo Meadows, you get the full, like, 3-lap traditional race. But it's like, oh, that's the only way I can get the traditional 3-lap race is when we're doing multiplayer. We select it from the start menu. I'm guessing in time trial mode, something I've not tried and trial. If I pick that Moo Meadows and that is a traditional 3 laps or something, or maybe in versus one thing. But for Grand Prix, knockout, and online multiplayer, for the most part, it is you drive there and then you only get like the 1 lap, and it definitely, I'm pretty sure it's not quite the same as the regular Moo.
Yeah, and again, like I think, and again to continue the point about the open world bit, it's me and Chloe actually played. We loaded up a 2-player mode, online mode, and then just drove around, just didn't start a race, and we did that for like 3 hours one night. And that was a lot of fun. You can do everything apart from the P blocks. I think the biggest problem the game has is the lack of options. So like you should be able to choose just the Grand Prix for Grand Prix mode, for example. Like that should just be an option. You should be able to choose to place a marker on the map to drive towards. Like you should be able to choose to see what you've unlocked in certain areas. That's kind of my main issue with it, is that it stops it from being like it's an incredible game that I've already played 20 plus hours of, to being like one of my favorite games of all time already. Like it's kind of, that's the only real things I look at and go, well, if they could just patch these options in, like even with the costumes, like don't have them all be separate. Let me just pick Mario and then pick the costume. Like don't have it clog up the character select screen, you know. But that's really my issues with it. It's just the kind of like Nintendo naivety of stuff that was like figured out by like Ubisoft 20 years ago, or Forza, right? That's kind of my issue with it. But other than that, like I've loved it. It's very rarely that I play a game for 20 hours in a week. Let alone a game that's primarily multiplayer. So it's been fun so far, and I know it's going to continue to be fun as the game develops. And it's Mario Kart at the end of the day. It's kind of a bit of a forever game, isn't it, on a Nintendo console? So you would expect it to be a different game, but also like the main game of its type in about a year's time.
And also, it might be because obviously it's called Mario Kart World and it's the open world, but like it's like this day and age, like Nintendo have been pretty decent supporting games like Splatoon and things, and like we all pointed out, like Donkey Kong and Pauline have both only got one costume. There is no Diddy Kong.
Well, there's a Donkey Kong game coming out in a month, right? I feel like that's not a
Yeah.
coincidence.
It's it'll be pretty soon for the game to get DLC, but I could definitely see them going. Here's the Donkey Kong world. It's over to the right of Mushroom Kingdom. That's where Donkey Kong Land is. It's the right of Mushroom Kingdom, and it's got these new tracks, and it's now got a Diddy Kong, and it's now got new costumes and stuff. And like, cool.
Yeah, for sure. But that's Mario Kart, and that's its initial thing. So for everything else we've been playing, Craig, what else have you bought and played on your Switch 2 so far?
So I did end up buying Fantasy Life. The Girl That Steals Time is the correct name for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I bought it quite soon to launch. Again, I wasn't planning to. It's just that, yeah, the some of the stuff from Mario Kart left me a bit. Oh, I want something else to play as well as this. I also want something handheld. Like really, that was going to be like a real handheld game that I will only probably ever play handheld. I've not even tried it on the TV yet. I think my save is about 8 or 9 hours in. I'm quite enjoying it. My actual like world that your little farm, whatever it is you're building, is very basic. I just plonk down the houses when I get a new person, and they live in that house, and that's about as much effort as I put into that. But then I'm not a big player of these sort of games, but I'm quite enjoying the story of it. Hopping around and doing the quests, and the combat's actually pretty fun, pretty snappy. It looks really nice. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. I imagine for me it would be doing the main campaign and doing as many of the side questy bits that you get when you unlock your new jobs as I can, and that will probably be that. I can't imagine I'm going to be there designing my world for 30 hours, boys, and then it all looks pretty. I'll leave that for someone else. I would have thought.
What job are you playing?
So I've got a few. I've got the basically the sword person from a combat role.
Paladin, right? I think something like that.
No, it's not the paladin. The paladin has a shield as well.
Oh, have you got the mercenary?
That's it, the mercenary. Yeah. I've got for my crafting one. I think I got blacksmith. So that's actually quite cool. The mini game for that is pretty fun. And then for my gathering, I've got fishing.
Right.
So again, that's pretty cool. Just every now and again, I stop around and I see, there's a high level fish there. Let's go see if I can catch that fish.
You do love a fishing mini game.
Exactly right. I mean, it probably would have made more sense in hindsight if I was in the blacksmith to do the mining one. That would have, if I was planning this out, boys, that would have made more sense, right? But
yeah.
But yeah, I want to fish, so I fish. I can always just go and get the mining one as well if I want, I guess, as well. So yeah, I am quite enjoying that. I said it is the handheld Switch game at the moment, and it does look very pretty in handheld. It is quite basic. There's not a lot of. I died a huge amount so far, if at all. I don't think. But I also haven't tried out. There's like it's kind of like the multiplayer area. I guess it's also the leveling up, the grinding area where you can go to. I've done the tutorial bit where it takes you there for the story. I haven't gone there at all since, so maybe I'll try out that a little bit as well.
I also wouldn't be surprised if it's more of like a social hub. Like if you're the fish person, you've caught fish, and I don't know what the other classes are, but if I'm a baker or something, I can trade my cart for a loaf of bread.
Yeah, there you go. I'll give you some fish, Pengi.
Yeah.
I'll give you some fish. And then the only other thing I played is a little bit of Fast Fusion. I've only done the first 2 Grand Prix on the novice mode, because there are 3 difficulties, but you've got to unlock the other 2. I'm guessing probably by finishing the Grand Prix on the previous difficulties.
Yes, yes.
The gameplay is a lot of fun. It performs incredibly well as well, I will say. It looks brilliant, this game. The tracks look incredible. There's all sorts of effects of rain on your screen. It looks beautiful. It is a real showcase game for the Switch 2. It's one that I'm like, if they done this, I felt like this game suffered a bit from the fact they didn't do review units or like free reviews or
Mm.
anything. Because
I saw that Video Game Chronicles did like a mini, but not a podcast, but it's like a mini thing they did, and it's like 20 minutes long, and they're on about reviews and stuff and how they had third parties contacting them, like, do they know when they're having units and when they could, properly refuse stuff. And like you said, a fast fusion is definitely that sort of case. Like, I guess like a split fiction, not so much as you'd have like obviously Xbox, PlayStation, and PC reviews, but definitely for like a this or a Boom Factory or even a Fantasy Life, I guess for a little bit, like not having review units out. Definitely, like Survival Kids. I was talking to Dave before. Like, I've seen one review for Survival Kids. I could not tell you if that game is any good or not because I've seen no coverage on it. Because I expect no one's got any review copies, and if they have, they're playing their Mario Karts and stuff before they get into the Survival
exactly.
Kids.
They're trying to rush out their Mario Kart review before their Survival Kid ones. So they know which one's getting clicks.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think this probably would have benefits. Like I said, it is a real technical showcase for the console, massively. But yeah, it does. It feels really nice to drive. It's I don't think there's much content here at all, in all honesty. But again, it is £13, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the end of the world. If I get 3 hours worth of content for that, how many indie games are being Pengi bought for around £13 that are 3 hours?
Quite a few.
Sure is probably one, and we love that, right?
Yeah, I think they've already said they're adding a lot of tracks for free. I mean, they've already confirmed.
Yeah, I imagine they will definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, but for the price, that's not too bad. You do have to buy the next Grand Prix, which is a bit of a strange decision they've made.
Yeah, I was talking to because I don't think both of you were in the game chat the other night, and Ross asked me about it because he saw me playing it and it's that sort of thing, and I was like, I've got this weird mechanic. It's like I did the GP, and like if you do it on Mario Kart, you would normally unlock the next cup, and I was like, oh, I've not unlocked the next cup. I got to spend 10,000 credits on the cup. I've only got 9,000, so I'm short 1,000. But then it forced me to go. I went into survivor mode, and then I did that race that got me like 2,000 credits, and then I had enough to then buy the next cup.
Yeah, so it's true. So I did the first cup, and I was like, oh, I want to see what cool new cars, whatever whatever it is, I could buy. So I bought one, and I was like, oh, there's the fusion mechanic, isn't it? Like that's the whole point of the game. So I was like, let's fuse two of them to see what happens. And you use some credits for that. And I was like, oh, that's really cool because then the stats of
combined.
I made a more powerful one now. I was like, oh, that's excellent. That's really cool. It looks really cool. And I was like, oh shit, now I can't afford the next Grand Prix. So I either have to do one of them that I've already done again, or to try them the other modes.
Which I guess is kind of good because it does feel like I would never really play. There's a time trial mode and stuff like that. I was like, I would never really do the time trial or survival mode, and now I might do them to unlock enough credits. I don't know how that's gonna work in the higher difficulty cups. So you're gonna need 50,000 credits to unlock a track. And great, I'm gonna grind in this racing game to unlock enough credits to go get this last cup. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I do wonder as well, because obviously I'm assuming you're just doing it on the novice difficulty at the moment.
Yeah, because that's what I got at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder how big's the jump going to be? Am I going to get to the next one and suddenly it's going to be way too hard? I'm going to be oh, I've reached my limit. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that's not the case. But, yeah, that would be interesting to see. I think that's pretty much all I've played so far on my Switch 2.
Nice, Pengi. What about you?
Yeah, so Switch 2, so I did obviously get my Switch 2. I did go back into Curry's. I went mid-afternoon, actually. I was in no sort of rush. The same manager was there, I want to speak to your manager. And he was like, there's 37 people here at 8 o'clock this morning, and we didn't let them buy till 9 o'clock. I don't know why they didn't let them buy till 9 o'clock, I don't know. There was only one in front of me. You could have been part
of the crew, Pengi. You could have been part of the community.
Yeah. When I got there was only one in front of me, and they had their own little desk with all the Switch 2s behind them and all the controllers and bits and pieces and all that stuff. I went for. They had some bundles and things and like deals where you could get like you could get Street Fighter 6 and it come and you instead of paying like let's say it's 50 quid, it's 60 quid. You're paying a £10 more and you're getting a Venom charge stand and something else that I would never use or never need, even though it was like a 20 quid like saving. So I never got any of them. I got a pretty basic bundle, which is Switch 2 with Mario Kart, where an SD card, which most probably going to need at some point, so that 12 months NSO and the Pro controller, and there wasn't actually a huge amount of saving. I think it was like £8 saving, but £8 is £8. I guess so. That's what the bundle I did get. I had to upgrade my NSO when I got home because it was the bog standard 12 months, and I wanted the higher tier so I could get the like GameCube stuff and all that sort of thing. So that was the bundle I got. And like I said, I did upgrade it so I could get the GameCube stuff, and I have played quite a bit of the GameCube stuff, mainly Soul Calibur 2. I have not touched Wind Waker. I'm not really planning to, even though it's like my favorite game of like all time. It's because I have Echoes of Wisdom that I've never played. So I would sooner play that Zelda I've not played than one I've played multiple times, if that makes sense. But I have played a lot of Soul Calibur 2, the Weapon Master mode, which is the story mode of Soul Calibur 2, and I literally before this podcast unlocked chapter 10, and there's 10 chapters in Soul Calibur 2. So I've almost finished Soul Calibur 2, guys, in 2025. So that is a thing. That is a good time.
Huge.
I think. And we played briefly, Dave, me and you, over online on Soul Calibur 2. It seemed to work okay, a little bit of lag sort of thing, but played it briefly, it just seemed to work. And I also played F-Zero briefly with the G-Namer lads, and that was a bit more of a work, but a pain of jumping in. It's like, oh, I've jumped right into a raid. I haven't played this game for 25 years or whatever. Okay, I'm going to be hopeless. I was hopeless, sort of thing. Thing. So that I've also played Fast Fusion like Craig, being enjoyed what I've played, but it's weird the whole everything is around the credits. So like you do a cup, you have to go buy the next cup, but obviously you've got prize money for winning the previous cup. Sort of thing, and like you got to buy your cars, you got to fuse them and stuff like that. But everything does give you credits and that. Again, me and you did play that briefly, Dave, through the game share thing, and I think it's the only game I've played through game share. And I believe the quality was not fantastic on your end of it.
No, it's. I don't think it's. I don't think it was ever gonna be good, but obviously if we'd both been wired in, maybe it would have been better. But it was playable, but just, I think, is the way to say it.
Do you think, obviously this is a fast game, but do you think something like a Mario Party, because when that gets the update, you own that, you should be able to game share with me and Craig. Do you think that would be more playable, or do you think...
Yeah, I think so.
But then you have the mini games where you have to press, A, B, or whatever really quickly. Do you think like the lag might be a problem or something with a game like Mario Party?
Well, game share essentially is what we do with the NSO stuff. It's exactly the same, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can fire a bit more data over, but I think if everyone's connected in, it'll be fine. I think it's just one of those things that it would be better if everyone had the game and we played online, obviously. But for a borderline free concession, I think it will work fine. But it depends entirely on a game to game. I think something a bit more turn-based would be easier. But like if we were to play, I don't know, what would be what's a turn-based, like chess or something. Like the 51 games worldwide or whatever probably works really well in game share. But yeah, I think it's one of those. I think it's a service you need to try a bit more, and then for having a real view on it.
And we have tried game chat a few times as well, which seems to work quite well.
Yeah.
Well, and I know you two haven't got the cameras, but again, with the Junior lads, they two of them had their cameras and stuff like that, and they seem to work quite well and things like that. I don't know why I would most probably get one, unless there's like a game that specifically uses the camera, like the Mario Party, but I'm not gonna go out and get that. But maybe something comes and it needs the camera, but that's the only thing I can really.
What's that
see.
blinking game you played a couple of times?
Beyond your eyes.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
your
yeah.
eyes?
I guess the Switch version, you can get your camera and you can blink with that.
Yeah. They are doing a Switch game, Good Night Universe, which I think is Switch, uh, it's a PC like only at launch, but I don't think that uses the camera thing. But yeah, other games I played. So I picked up Cyberpunk 2077 physical. I was going to start from the beginning, and then obviously when I put the game in, I realised you could actually jump right to Phantom Liberty, sort of thing. So I've jumped right to Phantom Liberty. Um, I'm not a huge way into it. I've saved the president. I have not met Idris Elba yet. It looks fine. You could definitely tell it's on the Switch too, and it's like the hardware and stuff like that. What I was more surprised was this is 30 frames a second, and I played Monster Hunter Wilds. I know it was the beta at like 30 frames, and that I was like, this is unplayable. God of War Ragnarok, I play at 30 frames a second. I was like, this is bad. I'm gonna go have to buy a PS5 so I can play a thing. And I think we even talked about last week, like a Plague Tale, the second one, like that's 30 frames I think at launch, and I dropped it after like 3 chapters. I'm like, I can't do this, and I never went back. So this is actually really smooth, and I'm surprised how good I'm having like no issues. And even when you're having like full combat things and like a shootout on that, it's like pretty smooth. So I don't know, like what they've done with frame pacing or whatever. Or unless it's a weird mind thing, it's like, oh, I know I'm playing on the Switch 2. I know it's not going to be as good and like sort of thing. But yeah, I was surprised how good it is for what I have played. I will most probably only finish Phantom Liberty, which is still got like 25 hours long. It does put you near the end of Act 2 in the main game, so it wouldn't be that long to go finish the rest of Act 2 and then in that Act 3. And it's a different ending, I believe, based on Phantom Liberty. So maybe I do that sort of thing. There's that as well. I didn't go for Fantasy Life because it's digital only. I went for a physical farming RPG. I got Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, I think, which I have played about 3.5 hours of, and so far, pretty good. The combat is fairly basic. It's like you have the attack button. That's your attack button. There. That's what we get. That's what we good. Got visually the character models all pretty nice, and they all got like a nice art style. It's 60 frames, all like smooth. Can still tell it's a Switch 1 game. There'll be some places where like this tree, this texture of this tree is pretty low texture. We've not really done much here. We've just got this game running at 60 frames and improved the character models. Bit like Craig with the Fantasy Life. I'm just plonking my alright, I need to make a blacksmith. I made a blacksmith. It's going there because that's the space it will fit in my farm. And you got different islands. You start on spring. I am now on, I want to say the autumn island. I just got to the autumn island, and you got different islands, and they're gonna have different deities ruling over them, and different crops, and different problems, and things like that. So what I have played is actually quite enjoyed that, I think. And then I got one other pickup which I haven't played, and that's Path of the Goddess, or Konmitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess, the import from Amazon Japan, but I have not played any of that yet, but it could be soon, especially I'm nearly done with Soul Calibur 2, and then Soul Calibur 2 is just going to be for multiplayer, and I presume I'm going to have to be the host most of the time with Soul Calibur 2, because I'm going to have all the characters and everything unlocked, and obviously my character, Mina, she doesn't unlock until the end of chapter 6, start of chapter 7. So you're gonna have to be quite far into that. So yeah. But that is my switch to playing and buying.
Nice, Pengi.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So for me, obviously, we lost Craig again.
Yeah.
Is Craig forgetting to touch his controller? This is what happening. Are you back, Craigo?
I'm here.
Did you forget to touch your controller?
Yeah, I don't know if it's maybe if I don't talk in a while or something like that, maybe that.
Yeah, it's just like it's your controller. Here's Pengles, and it's like, nope, I'm done. So as for me, I bought. So I'm going to do in the order of physical games. So I bought 2 physical games. Much like Pengi, I've imported a copy of Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess from Japan, because it's only physical there. I absolutely adore this physical edition, Pengi. I think it's really cool. I haven't imported a game from Japan since our Vita days, when we first started the show. So when this turned up, it did give me like a genuine, like childlike smile. To have this thing that.
It's definitely something. It's weird. Definitely something I would look more to, and I can weirdly seem because the Switch one, there's loads and Play Asia, and everyone's done loads. But because of the whole cartridge stuff, I can see there being less games, and then like in Japan, like Daemon X Machina as a GameCube, but over here as a proper physical. So I wouldn't import that, but like I'm definitely more like a Suikoden 1 and 2, and like that's now on my radar, and there could be an odd thing and something that pops up in Japan that's only digital over here, or something that would be much more tempted, especially how cheap the games were from Amazon Japan.
It was just very easy. Like I logged into my
easy.
account and they sent it and it was here in 4 days.
Yeah,
I know you can't argue with it, can you? So and like they've got the weird thing on there. They don't have my Prime doesn't carry over, but they have like a point system, much like Game Collection. So every time you spend money on their Amazon, you get money back on Amazon. So I'm kind of like, well, the more I buy, and I know you're always down for that kind of thing, Pengi. But yeah, so it was really cool to get the physical on that, and I have played the game a lot. This is my early front runner for Switch Hidden Gem, because it's just. Switch 2, Hidden Gem. It's just so good. So like I've played the game before. I'm actually further now than I was when I played it originally on Game Pass. Performance-wise, 1080p 60 looks great. Like I honestly, if I handed you it and you didn't know the controller buttons, I don't think you'd be able to tell it's not the same as the Xbox and PlayStation version. Like it's maximum everything. Looks great. Effects are fantastic. Good. It's weirdly built like a handheld game, Craigo, because obviously you've played this. It reminds me of like a PSP game. It's like you do your little stages and then you go and you update your bases and then you do another stage. It's perfect for like a couple things when you're in bed. Game control's great. I've used the touch thing, the mouse thing for the sake of being able to talk about it on this show. Because I don't like using the Joy-Cons, it's not a mode I would ever do. But if they did like pro versions of the Joy-Cons that would basically the Pro Controller but had the mouse function, I think it would be quite useful. It didn't really slow me down to use the right stick, but I can see why they've done it. It's fine.
That's something I've still not tried. I've still not tried mouse mode on anything. Apart from when you set it up and it goes, you can use mouse mode, and you get the little arrow and you can move it around the UI. And I'm like, right, cool. That's never going to be used ever again.
Right, so I have tried mouse mode on another game, and I'll get to that in a mo. But yeah, Path of the Goddess, if you're listening to this and you wanted to buy a game that you're like, I want to buy a sort of modernish single-player game, get Kunitsugami. I think it's $32.99 to download. It's more than worth that. It's a lot of content in here. It's great. The other physical game, to segue, I got was Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster Edition. The local game shop to us, I work in town, so I can just occasionally pop in, and I seem to get really lucky every time I do. And I saw a copy for £27, and I was like, "Oh, go on!" And I haven't actually played this game since it came out, and I fancied a turn-based RPG. That's the kind of mood I've been in this week, as we'll talk about when we get to everything else we played. So I actually haven't played any of the game yet, apart from the 2 mouse mini games, because you can play it on the menu, and there's like a score. But if you play it in the game, you get like in-game rewards, Pengi. But I just played it for the sake again of trying the mouse mode. It works really good. The rhythm game's fantastic, and I really like the one. It's basically like an old school mouse game where you like control like levers and shit for like flying your airship. It's fun. They're both really fun little modes. I will play that mode again, but in the game, because I know you get a lot of in-game stuff for doing it in the game. Like there's like how you get some of the ultimate weapons and some of the different modes for like. They added the cool thing when they do these remasters where you can like double time and stuff, so everything is quicker. And for grinding, I'm going to need that because this game gets quite grindy at the end. But yeah, and I'm told they've made some good improvements to a lot of it, so I'm actually really excited to play Bravely Default. That's the physicals. Digitally, I too got Fantasy Life I, The Girl That Steals Time, much like Craigo. I played about 3 hours of it. I'm enjoying it. It's just one of those games that I've played so much Mario Kart that I haven't jumped into it in a deep way yet, and I haven't really had that many play in bed sessions. Like tonight, for example, after this podcast, I'm going to put a film on. I'm going to play in Hannah for a couple hours. I will play some Fantasy Life, but it's really good. It's a really pretty game. It's not a super cozy game, but it's like a kind of like almost like an easing to the coziness. Like it is cozy. Like Craig said, you got your little farm, you got your little village, but you also do some fighting, you do some mini games. It's a bit more involved, and I really enjoy it. I like the original on 3DS. So I'm glad that they brought it back, and I'm glad that it ended up being good, because I remember when it was being shown, we were kind of like, oh god, this doesn't look good at all. But yeah, I do recommend it. Again, like for Pengi, if you see a physical edition, if they did bring the physical edition over here like they were originally going to, I would recommend it. Or if you see it cheap on
yeah, I should look on Amazon Japan, because they might have like a Switch 2 physical now available.
Yeah, I think they said they were going to do it, but I don't know whether they did it or not.
Are you a fisherman as well, Dave?
No, I did woodcutting because I remember from
Nice.
and I did that as my first thing, because I remember from the first game that's how you get all your money. Fucking destroying
Nice.
logs and selling them straight away, and you need that then to go into. I think I did carpentry as my craft thing, because again they lead into each other is why I did it, and again it works for us. So like for example with Craig's blacksmithing, if Craig, instead of doing fishing or the next job he does picks, I think there's like a mining one, right? If he does that, then you'll make ore, and then the ore will be easier for blacksmithing and all that. It all kind of synergizes by the end once you've basically got every job. It's cool, but yeah. So it's one of those where I've been playing that, and the only other thing I've been playing is all of the old games. So GameCube, played some Wind Waker, played all some games with Pengi as well. I'm actually quite far into Wind Waker now. I ended up playing it for like 5 hours today. Game's still great, Pengi.
Yeah.
Perfect for handheld as well, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And then the other old game, I played some of the games that were already out on Switch. I played a little bit of Fire Emblem on GBA.
Nice.
Which is good. I do recommend it. It's a little bit slow, but again, like there's all the features now to speed everything up. And then I played and finished Wario Land 4.
Nice.
Which is absolutely amazing. All the Wario Land games are great, but 4 on the GBA is particularly good. It's kind of Metroidvania-y and crazy. I do recommend it if you fancy a 2D game, Craigo. It's a good one. It's a good one to play, considering it's part of your subscription. Pardon me. But yeah, that's it so far. Like I said, I'm enjoying what I'm playing. I plan to really get deep into Bravely Default going forward, because I'm going away in July. I don't think I'm going to buy anything else before Donkey Kong. But we'll see. If I saw Yakuza for under £30, I'd be tempted. I think because I played Kiwami this year on Switch 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be the only thing.
One thing I will ask you, Dave, before is you play Fantasy Life on your Switch 1 and you played it on your Switch 2 now. Is there a big difference?
Huge. It's like it's like going from 360 to Series X. It's that big a jump. It is terrible on
Really?
Switch 1. Yeah, it runs awful. It looks terrible. It's like 17 frames a second, like 540p. Like fair play to them. I think they said that like the compute value is like 10 times more for Switch from Switch
Right.
2, Switch 2 to Switch 1 or whichever way around, and I believe it. Fantasy Life, Fantasy Life is the one I'm like, that was £2.07 well spent for me to jump the update. But yeah, it's a lot better. Like if you watch footage of the Switch 1 game, you'd be like, I think the footage we were seeing in all the directs was Switch 1 footage, and we were like, oh, this looks dodgy, and then you play it on Switch 2. I haven't tried any of the like Switch 1 games really. Like I know quite a lot of people are playing Link's Awakening because it's like a transformative improvement is what people are saying.
That's what I was saying about Echoes of Wisdom. Like I have that, so
Yeah.
like I'm gonna play that over Wind Waker because it's now at a solid 60 frames, and you can definitely see like the resolutions had a bump. You can see
Yeah.
more detail and stuff like that. And like I said, it's new to me, so
Yeah, and and again, like the top-down Zeldas are cool, right? They're ones that you want to play.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that we get Twilight Princess on GameCube soon, but that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, so let's finish the podcast with what else we've been buying and playing. Craigo, have you bought and played much else?
No, I think it's been a while. I think I finished Doom since we've last talked. That was great.
Doom.
And I think I also finished Lost Records since we last talked. Actually, I quite enjoyed that as well for how I played it, in all honesty. And I quite enjoyed the different endings and all that jazz. The only other thing I can think of that I've played isn't a Switch is I have started the Warhammer Space Marine Mastercrafted remaster
Hell
thingy,
yeah.
schmoz.
Yeah.
Which obviously came out and with the Game Pass, so I was like, I'm going to start that now. That's my main like TV game. Obviously, having played Space Marine 2 at the start of this year in January, the difference is the game has come a long way, boys. It really has.
Can you feel the 14-year difference, Craigo?
When people say that, every Xbox is the same now, every PlayStation is the same now. Oh, it is not. You guys are forgetting. You guys are forgetting a lot, but it does still hold up. It's still a fun, nice little game to play. In fairness, it is obviously a lot more basic than Space Marine 2, and it is very much a remaster. This isn't a remake by any stretch of the imagination. It does feel like you're playing a slightly prettier, slightly better running 360 game in that sense. So I don't know how much this is to buy, how much they released it as, but it's definitely one that I would say like you play it for a subscription or like get it for cheap in a year's time or something like that. I don't know if it's like £30. I have no idea.
I think
Probably,
it's $39.99, but don't quote me.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush out and pay £40 for this definitely in 2025. But it is quite good fun to play. Obviously, I'm killing orcs this time, not tyrants, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Tyranids.
You've nailed 40k so far.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm quite enjoying it. But yeah, it's very much a blast from the past. I will say to Dave that like this came out quite a bit after Gears of War 1, and
But if I want me to pressure you even more, Craig, it came out after Gears 2 as well, and I think it's the same.
did it?
Gears 2 was 2008. I think Gears 3 was either 2011 or 2012. So I think Gears 3 was the same year as Space Marine 1. I think.
It is crazy just how far ahead like the Gears games are to this. Because in terms of feeling and shooting and that, but it's still very fun. Still enjoying my time with it. But yeah, if you haven't played Space Marine 2 yet, wink wink nudge Dave, play that.
It's on the list, Gregor. I'm kind of hoping it might get a
you-
Switch 2 port.
Yeah,
Okay.
although the running might be hard with all the amount of shit on screen.
I've seen it run on Steam Deck, so if it can run
Yeah.
on Steam Deck, in my mind,
Yeah,
it
it's
could run.
not great on Steam Deck. It's one of the
No.
like
Which is
the
why I haven't
games
bought
that-
it yet, to be honest.
yeah. I watched a video once. It's like our games and finally pushing the Steam Deck past it, and they were using that as the example. It's like, yep, this is pushing the Steam Deck past what it can do.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But anything else, Craigo?
No, that's it. I think.
Nice, Pengi.
Mhm.
What have you been up to, young man?
Okay, so me. So since last podcast, I finished Lies of P, which I hadn't finished because I think even though we've done a few podcasts, we haven't really talked about what we played. So it's actually quite a while ago I finished Lies of P. I got what was considered the bad ending, the real boy ending. I became a real boy, but it was the bad ending. However, I've also went and got the true ending of Lies of P. So I got that as well. I got the true ending. That was some more trophies and all that good stuff. But that's not where it's finished though, Dave. Because I have a pickup. I have additional pickup. Craig can count it on his calculator. Lies of P Overture, which I started on Friday. And I am a few hours into this. I am on chapter 3. I've took down one proper named boss. I took her down, and there's a few other not sort of named bosses. You think like you fight the big crocodile, which you may have seen in the trailers. That is a boss that I have fought. I have fought the crocodile. And the zoo bit is quite cool. I didn't think I would ever be fighting zombie-fied elephants in a video game, but that's something I have done. But yeah, more Lies of P action is going on, sort of thing. So yes, really, you can tell I really like Lies of P. If we were to do our year-end awards now, we have the category of best game you've played that isn't from this year. I think I would be giving it to Lies of P. My 5 points, I think we're going to do 5 for that one, but I think Lies of P would be taking that award for me at the moment. And I guess Overture, especially best DLC, is well based on the current things. I haven't actually played that much DLC. A small game, quite a quick one, is I did download as it was free after they did the Warhammer Skulls thing, the Warhammer 40k bolt gun Words of Vengeance, which has got like 3 levels, quite a few difficulty settings and stuff like that. I think I just played for like the default one, and you got like type like Chaos Marine and Blood Angel and a Cromnom and stuff like that, and I think. But then someone's like boom, type boom, and you're blowing up a canister and stuff like that. It's very much house typing of the dead sort of thing, and like I said, it is short. It is free though, and it's like oh, thanks for playing. This is like I can't remember the main character's name in this. Was like their adventures will continue in Bolt Gun 2. So I think this is like maybe set after Bolt Gun 1 and before Bolt Gun 2 and stuff, how it's thing. So I guess if you're up on your Bolt Gun story and lore, you may want to play this for that as well. That one. Then another game I finished, and I played all this on my ROG Ally because it makes so much sense as a handheld game, and I played it through the Xbox app on the thing, which you just have to download the app, and it's pretty easy, and just install the game. It was To a T, or what else is it called, Craig?
Oh,
To it. Yeah, this is a very strange game. You can definitely tell it's from the Katamari Damacy creator. It's very strange, and it starts off really well. You have your cool intro and your music and stuff, and it starts off where you're like doing silly things, well, everyday things, where it's quite silly because you're in this T pose where like you got to go put on your clothes and stuff, and it's a bit silly because obviously you're in a T pose, or you got to go have cereal and like you're using the triggers and stick to like move your body, so then you can like reach the box of cereal and then move your body around it, turn it around the other way to then pick up the milk and tip your head forward and stuff to like eat from the spoon and stuff like that. And you got like a giant spoon, and it's kind of silly. And then you go on your little adventures with your dog. You meet the giraffe that makes you sandwiches. That song, the giraffe sandwich song, is the outro for every episode, and the game's episode based. That's how it works quite well for a handheld game. You have there's 8 episodes, you do like episodes of that. There's a few bits, again, I I guess a bit like TV shows where you have before the episode starts, there's like something will happen. So something will happen with the mum or something, and then it goes to the intro, and then like the episode starts, and you can like some of them you can walk around the town, and there's mini games like there's a popcorn eating mini game, and there's shops, there's like coins, you can buy new costumes and like different hats for your dog and all that. Just starts off like really fun, silly, and there's like other mini games, and it all makes because you're in like this T-pose all time. But then the last few episodes get like I don't want to say serious, but serious for a game like this because it is still silly, and it lacks like all the mini game stuff. I'm pretty sure the last episode is basically a visual novel. In the end, it is like all a text. It starts off really well and finishes like quite poorly considering the game on that. But it's on Game Pass, sort of thing. So it's not a lot you could lose. But for like you, Craig, I think you would much prefer this on the handheld than playing it on your TV. It's just obviously the Xbox handheld is not here yet, and obviously, and there isn't really much. You could buy it, I guess, on Plus on PlayStation and play it from the portal. That would be an option, I guess. But yeah, that feels very handheldy, and it worked great for my ROG Ally. And then the other thing I played was a demo that came out of Summer Game Fest, and that's the Neo 3 demo thing, which is a Souls-like game. And yeah, I finished the demo. The demo is really good, so I'm actually quite excited for that game now in 2026. So yeah, I
can't even remember which one this is. There's so many of these sorts of games.
Yeah, it was the Neo one. It's the game from Toei Tecmo, Teen Ninja.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So it's that one, which was from the demo, pretty good. It does throw quite a few mechanics at you. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to try to learn all these mechanics now because it's the demo in 6 months' time when I forgot them. Then, but from what I played, really enjoyed it. It's weirdly similar to Rise of the Ronin and how you're set up. Like you go around the open world, you walk around, you go to your mission, and then your mission starts, and then that's like really linear and stuff like that. And Rise of the Ronin is exactly the same. Sort of thing. But obviously, that was it's based on a historical thing in like Japan, where this is you're fighting like yokai and ghosts and stuff, and that's a little bit less serious thing. But yeah, I enjoyed what I played of it, and unless it comes out at a bad time next year, I'm pretty looking forward to that one thing. And that is everything from me. So, Dave, what else did you play?
Nice, Pengi. Nice. Let me scroll down to my list. So, on the deck that steams, I have completed Uncharted 4. Game's still great. Craig should play it. I've left it installed so I can do Lost Legacy. But obviously, because I have been deep into a new games console, there hasn't been a whole lot of Steam decking going on, Pengi. My only Switch to pick up is I picked up Final Fantasy 1 on an Xbox sale. It was about £4. Never finished it. It's one of those. It didn't come out over here, so it's only been re-released and stuff. It's not very long ago. It's about 10 hours long. But I've played about 2 of those hours, and it's still kind of fun. Like, it's just a basic ass turn-based game. The pixel remasters are really good.
Yeah. What you could have done, you could also play Final Fantasy Origins Treasures of Paradise.
It wasn't £5, Pengi, but it is wishlisted.
That's
I want to know how chaos happened, right? But yeah, it's one of those. It's fun. I saw it was on sale. I didn't want to buy the whole pixel remasters, which are also on sale, because there's no point buying 6 games and playing one of them and then not playing the rest. So I was kind of like, well, I'll just buy them when they go on sale, and if I want to play them. 2 I know is terrible, so I won't buy 2. I've played 3 and 4 before, so etc. But yeah, I like from time to time playing Final Fantasy, and they're all quite readily available on Xbox and or Steam, and or Windows, Xbox Windows, whatever the hell they call it. Because I saw, for example, that Final Fantasy 13 is on sale on Xbox PC because it's a port for like £4, but it's different to the 360 version that's on Xbox One, on Xbox Series X, which is kind of why if we were to have the ROG discussion, is why I would keep my Series S for the time being, because it's a different library. But yeah, just fancied playing it. I played a little bit, really enjoyed it. I will go back to it. It's not very long. It's a very simple game, came out in the 80s, right? But all good fun.
But Dave, it's not on here, but weren't you also going to play as I played the demo from Summer Game Fest, weren't you going to play Final Fantasy 16?
It is installed, but I haven't got to it yet.
Nice.
It is installed. The only other, because I played the Foundry demo for Tony Hawk's we talked about on the last show, because I did it just before the show, and then the only other thing I've played is I played the Xbox Gears Reloaded beta, the multiplayer beta. I played something like yesterday. Game looks great still, runs great still. The multiplayer is still lots and lots of fun. And it was a cross-play beta, so I got into the game really quickly, and that gives me hope, because that was my big issue with the Xbox One remaster. It was kind of before all of the cross-play stuff got big, just after Rocket League, I think. So now that this has this, that you can play with PlayStation players, you can play it with PC players, great stuff, because it's one of my favourite multiplayer games of all time. It's an old multiplayer now. It's 20-year anniversary next year, Craigo. But yeah, it's just a fun time. The maps are still really good. I kind of like only having, I think it's 6 weapons that are in Gears 1. I kind of like that flow. And like I did say to you guys, I don't know if you guys have checked, but Xbox sent me a message to tell me that because I own Gears Ultimate Edition already, here is a code to have the new game to own.
Nice.
I don't recall having a digital copy of Gears Ultimate, so I don't know whether it's because it is on Game Pass and I've downloaded it, or it might have been on Gold, because me and Craig have played it.
I think they gave it away. Didn't he give it away with 4 or 5 or something?
Maybe that's what it was, because I know I bought it on disc when it came out, for sure, 100%. But I know that I no longer have that. So, but yeah, they sent me a free code for it. So even if my Game Pass lapses, which it probably will because I'm on holiday, so I think it ends in about a week's time, so I won't bother renewing it until I come back. I can still play the game, so that's cool. I can jump on that. If I decide I just want to get the £6 a month sub to play it online with Craigo, I can. So that's cool. But yeah, that's all I've really played. I'm very into the Switch 2, and I kind of feel like that's going to be the case until my holiday, because I said this to Chloe. I think this is my favourite launch, maybe of all time. Definitely as an adult, because I was trying to think. I was like, the 3DS was terrible at launch. The Wii U was the Wii U. The Vita I didn't get at launch. The Switch I didn't play because the only game on it was a Wii U game. And so yeah, I think by default the Series S was alright at launch.
Yeah, we played a lot of Wii U though at launch.
I didn't know you at launch, Pengi.
Nah,
2012.
Okay, maybe.
It's 2012. So I played New Super Mario Bros. U a lot, and I liked it. Don't get me wrong, but no, it's not as good as this Mario Kart game. But yeah, good times. But yeah, that's the show. If you've got this far, thank you for watching. If you've got a Switch 2, let us know, because we are eager. And I do think the one thing we didn't talk about, I don't think any of us really talked about a whole lot, is that I've never done a launch with you guys, in particular on Nintendo, where we have played online as much as we have. Because I know the forum has been it's been really popping off. We've been jumping on pretty much every night. It seems like someone is playing on that Discord, so that's a really positive note. And I guess it's having a big multiplayer game at launch, right? But yeah, I'm sure we're going to talk about Switch 2 more as we go. I don't know what the topic will be next week. It might be a Craig mystery challenge or something, when Craig pops in a question in the chat, and then we go and make a plot of it. So yeah, so if you can think of that, Craig, we're going to put all of that on you. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye.